Welcome back, Kiwi Yoinkers and all other folk to Sunsaw Gaming. Now today we have a request from LowKeyNweb to do a video on this tank, the STA-1. Now this is a tier 8 medium tank, and as you can see here, this is against tier 7. This thing has 0 armor. So safe to say against tier 8s and tier 9s, you can't rely on this tank's armor at all. Everything, including HE rounds, are going to go through you. Now this gun does have about 2,400 damage per minute if you are loading the gun rammer, and that will also give you about a 5.5 second reload time. Now it's 225 on the alpha and for the AP rounds, and 190 on the alpha for your APCR. The tank does have a very good gun depression, 10 degrees depression there, and its aim time is also very good at 2.08 seconds. And a great dispersion at 0.317. Now, if you are playing this tank, I do reckon that on your equipment you should be running the equipment that increases your shell velocity in this thing. It will help you immensely, and that's just my personal opinion on that for this tank anyway. Now into the first match. Now I do have two matches for you today. The first one here is from Sweezhong, and he is on Castilla. This is a supremacy match. Now, when you're playing this tank, like I said just before, it has absolutely 0 armor. So you never want to stop moving. Unfortunately, this thing does not have the greatest acceleration off the mark. It is slow to get up to speed, but once it does get up to speed, you sit roughly around 40 kilometers per hour on average. So, barring taking off, like you can see here, these other mediums and lights are just putting on the pace, and just you can tell the STA-1 does not have the acceleration to keep up with these guys off the mark. But that's fine. You just have to find yourself different positions to what you would normally find. Don't go to the standard medium locations. Go to just little places like this that are just off center, places where the enemy are not going to expect you to be sitting, basically. It does have a very, very nice gun. Very quick reload time, very accurate, and I mean, you've just got to be really, really patient with this tank. Unfortunately, gets another miss on the KV-13 there. Pretty hard to see with that car in the way, but the KV-13 is doing all of the same sort of shots. Does unfortunately get absolutely whacked by the Annihilator there, and it's tanks like that absolutely ruin tanks like the STA-1. Now luckily for him, this Annihilator is not the smartest cookie, and his teammate is also willing to sacrifice his life. Now you see there, he did get a couple of troll bounces there off of the side armor while he was side scraping against the Annihilator. Don't expect that to happen an awful lot in this tank. And that there though, the damage he took on the tracks, you can expect these tracks in this tank to soak up huge amounts of damage. I mean, against enemies that are not aiming, these tracks will just soak up damage. And it is probably one of the saving features about the STA-1. Now as you can see, he has done absolutely nothing without the support of his teammates so far. He does unfortunately lose a lot of hit points at the start, but you're just going to see him just play very, very, very safely from this point onwards, just because he does have low hit points. And this is how you need to be playing the tank from the start. Just basically drive this thing around like you only have 1 HP the entire match. And you will survive a lot longer, you will do a lot better. Now, like I say, this tank is very, very good with its gun. The accuracy, the snapshots make it great for being able to just play peekaboo with your targets. Gets a nice track shot there on the Tiger. Now, unfortunately, this is not what you want to do. He gets a very lucky shot on the gun mantlet there, but I mean, he sat here for too long out in the open, not moving, and allowed the Tiger to just put a shot into that commander's viewport. And that's what you want to try and avoid. Never sit still in this tank. It is not what you want to be doing. You want to constantly be rocking, constantly moving back and forwards. And if you can, stay hull down everywhere you go. Every single position you take in this tank should be a hull down position. It's going to give you the best chance of survival. And with a 5.5 second reload, I mean, you can get yourself into positions like this if there are, you know, other enemies around where you're going to be safe and you're able to basically maximize that reload speed. Nice HE round into the turret of the Borsig there. But I mean, as you can see, he's done a fair amount of damage this match. He has been frontline. He has. This is what you call aggressive play from the STA-1. I don't recommend it so much, but if you get in there, if you get in the mix and you have the support from your team, you can do wonderful things up front with this tank, so long as you're not the one getting shot at. So he does get the Ace Mastery there, high caliber, 3,800 damage with 1 kill, and top of his team, thanks to his teammate. Now we do have a second match here, Yamato Harbour, and this is from Michael Very Mad. And I wanted to show you this match just on the how to play the STA-1, because how he starts off, in fact, how he plays this whole match is exactly what you want to be doing with it. Now, he's looked at the enemy team's lineup, they've got a TD. I mean, if I were the enemy team, I would come out to C, because Michael's team here has no tank destroyers, and they've got 4 heavies. So Michael's going to do the smart thing. He is not going to push forward. He's going to sit here. His teammate is also sitting back. And they're just going to wait and see what comes. Because this tank has no armor and it does not have the greatest of acceleration, you don't want to get caught with your pants down sitting frontline on that C cap where you cannot run away. Or at least not very easily run away. You don't want to trade hit points. Now, great idea there. He couldn't see any of the other tanks that were in town. He fired and backed up instantly just to see if his light bulb would go off. And it's things like that that you can do in this tank just to make sure that you are safe. And I mean, use this tank's gun depression, guys. It has an amazing 10 degrees of gun depression. And it is, if it had any less gun depression, I probably wouldn't play this tank. I mean, maybe 9 degrees, I'd go for it. Does unfortunately take some nasty shots into that giant commander hatch there. And I mean, it is a huge hatch. It is a weak spot, and that is why you must keep moving this tank. Do not sit still. Do not sit still. Now, here I mean isolating your targets. Isolating your targets is what this tank does great. Isolate a target, go after him, take him out with your damage per minute, you know, get that DPM in there, and take down solitary targets. If there are no solitary targets, try and use this tank to move and maneuver to create cross shots. That's what you want to be doing, creating cross shots and taking down lone targets. Now, unfortunately, he does get tracked there, just scraping against the side of the T-69. Very unfortunate track, but I mean, again, that's another isolated target. He came around the back. I mean, sure, he took a couple of shots for it, but that's another tank out of the game. That's another tank not firing at his team because he's used the STA-1 properly and he's isolated targets. Now you see the T-49, unfortunately he misses the T-49 there, and that is why I say you need to be running the equipment for the shell velocity. Because, I mean, you will miss shots. If you're not leading your targets far enough, you will miss a lot of shots just because the shell velocity on this thing is only sitting at about 914 without the equipment. Again, here we go. He's isolated one tank, taken him out, moved in, keeping himself safe from the rest of the team, and he's isolating yet another tank. Now, didn't want to risk staying out in the open for too long to get shots where he was going to do damage, so he tracks him. Very nice track indeed, and I mean, he's just look at him. He's being very aware of where the other 2 heavy tanks are, and he's waiting for his teammate to support him. And there he is. His teammate is there supporting him. Now he can push forward and start getting this damage in. Start farming some of this IS-3 defender. Now you'll notice every time he's going for these traps, and that is a very smart move, especially in this tank, because it does have a very quick reload. You can permatrack tanks. If they don't have the crew skills up high enough or anything like that, you can permatrack tanks with this thing, and that makes it a very dangerous tank. A lot of people don't like this thing because it has no armor, because it doesn't have the acceleration. A lot of people struggle to use this tank effectively, but if you know that it doesn't have the acceleration, don't put yourself in the positions where you're going to need it. You can't play this like any other sort of medium. You need to play it like it's got a heavy tank's speed, basically. You can't be whipping and running out of positions. It doesn't work. I hope this video helps some of you guys with the STA-1. If you'd like to see more of these videos, please request them. Do like and subscribe to my videos. It does help a lot. And until next time, guys, stay safe, use cover. Cheers.